afternoon, friends. My name's Justin. I'm a session guitarist here in Nashville, Tennessee, and today I want to look at the Keeley OAXA and decide if it could be the only modulation pedal on your board. I think there's a strong case that it could. First, the rig that I'm playing through. In that opening clip, I was playing this old piece of junk. This is a 59 335 through a Marshall JTM Studio, which is what you're usually hearing on my channel these days. And I used the 10-stage phaser for the rhythm guitar, the kind of funkier, cleaner guitar. And then I used the UNIVIBE setting on this pedal for the second guitar, the more leady guy. So this is what this guitar sounds like clean. Neck pickup. Middle position. I mean, that's just going to 8. Like, there is such a range of sounds in the first, like, from 10 to 8 on these pots. It's crazy. So, let's go through the pedal. Like all Keeley pedals, you're going to be able to get really great sounds just using the knobs on the front, and that's it. If there were no Easter eggs, if there were no secondary menus worth of controls, it's worth the price of admission. Like, it's going to be just a great sounding pedal with what you're able to control with your feet, right? We all want to be able to tweak things with our feet during gigs. Well, maybe not all of us, but I always find that really useful. So having these big knobs, especially the rate control being really accessible with the side of the toe of my shoe, like, I really like that. And then these other knobs, I would be tweaking these as I wanted the entire gig, you know. So here's what the blue side of the 10-stage phaser sounds like. Kind of a high rate, low depth. Got the feedback turned up. Man, that's just a really great motion to have behind anything. It's super cool. I mean, you can do the real clean, like, just percussive. I mean, it could even be a single note thing. It sounds really great. So that's just one phaser. You have another phaser too. Also 10-stage. And when you're on this phaser, notice our settings when we go back to the blue side, they didn't change. Now here's the thing, when they're both on, the LED goes crazy, which is cool. but I can still get to the red side settings by double tapping and holding the red side knob. So if I double tap, it's almost got a flanger. That's kind of cool. That's pretty awesome. So that's both phasers on. Got a little bit of tape delay. And a little bit of reverb from the Meris Mercury 7. So I'll turn that stuff back off. Now, the pedal has some other hidden functions, okay? So regardless of which side you have turned on, if you double tap the blue knob and hold, rate gives you access to the compression control. So if we have that turned up, you can hear that those sort of single note funk parts get a little cooler. So I'm going to turn the compressor back down. And then also, do you notice how the modulation isn't like super uniform? There's like a spot where it hurries up real quick and does this thing. Just listen to it with the depth turned up. Listen to the pattern of it. You can smooth that out with this low notch filter control. Double tap blue side. There it is, way up. Turn it down, and back to these like vibey sounds, you know? I think the temptation with these like really pretty sounds is then to add a bunch of really pretty colors into the chord, and sometimes you don't need to do that. You could just real simple voicings, you know? The more complex the sound, I mean, like mean, that's cool. I like that chord, but it's also, I don't know, a little much, right? So, I don't know, kind of where my head is often. The more complicated the part, the more complicated the harmonic content, maybe the less affected I need to be, you know. I talk about this a lot in my course. I have a course out called the SIDEMAN'S HANDBOOK. It's just basically that entire world between just playing like rhythm guitar like that and lead, playing solos, okay? There is an entire universe between those two things where you can come up with parts, you can come up with things that complement other elements of the band, you can play with like really pro level pocket. We talk about how to do that in this course. And in that space between just strumming chords and just taking solos, I've made a career as a musician in Nashville, and I play on big records, you know, like that's kind of the entire angle, is to create something valuable and compelling. So we talk about that in that course. You should check that out. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, there's another hidden setting on this pedal that I want to talk about before I let you go, and it is the fact that you can go from a 10-stage, 4-stage UNIVIBE setup on the mini toggle to 6-stage, 4-stage, 2-stage. And basically there's just other phasers buried in the pedal, you know, just extra Easter eggs that I think the Keeley guys are just so good at. So what you have to do is turn the pedal off, like basically just unplug it and then hold down the red side button while you plug it back in. Now it's going to blink 3 times when you go into the 6-stage, 2-stage setting, the alternate setting, and then do the exact same thing to go back. The LED will blink twice when you go back. So check that out. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to unplug it, hold down the red side, plug it back in, 1, 2, 3. Now we're in the alternate settings. So up top, got a 6-stage. That sounds super cool, and it sounds like the compressor is kind of doing some work in the old 6-stage setting. Great. Now the 2-stage, you know, our 4-stage in the middle didn't really change. Just like the most clean, awesome, deep, expensive sounding Phase 90 you've ever heard, right? And then on the bottom we now have a 2-stage instead of the UNIVIBE. Well, a 2-stage kind of sounds like a UNIVIBE. Boost side of the box of rock. Without changing anything else, let's go back to our UNIVIBE setting just to see how different it is. So I unplug, hold down the red side, plug it in. It's going to blink twice this time. 1, 2. And now we are back to our UNIVIBE. I mean, it's definitely throbbier at the same settings, for sure. Very cool pedal. So there are a couple other things you can change, series and parallel with holding down the two switches, and there's, like I said, there's a lot going on in the pedal, but it's all like free bonus stuff because it's just a great sounding phaser. And if you want to use it in stereo, if you have a stereo delay with like a loop, you know, send and return, you can put it in the loop. You can do stereo inputs and stereo outputs, so you get the stereo phase within the delay. And I never run stereo on records. It would be fun. It's fun to do live, basically, but I almost never, ever do it on a record because I think in that role as a contracted sideman on a record, I don't want to step out of my lane and into the mix engineer's lane too much. And I don't want to confine them to the choices I've made. So in the same way that I don't use a ton of reverb or a ton of delay, sometimes I exaggerate it based on the part that I'm playing, but I don't want to, I want them to be able to add more delay or add reverb to their mix rather than me sort of saying, well, here's an 8-second delay or an 8-second reverb that is just as loud as my dry signal. Enjoy, you know, like I'm kind of shoehorning them into the part that I, you know, because I printed the effect or whatever. So one other plug, I have a free course as well, just to say thanks to everybody who checks out my channel. It is all about dialing in sounds, and we go through pedals that I use commonly, or, you know, common pedals that I use all the time for delay, reverb, overdrive and boost, tremolo, and we throw a couple bonuses in there like different modulation stuff like chorus and compressor, and just, you know, where my headspace is when I dial these things in on the records I play on. Yeah, that one's free, and there's a link in the description. Just like there's a link in the description to purchase the Sideman's Handbook, which is wildly cheap, if not free. Not being free. So anyway, check out the OAXA. There's going to be a lot of other content on this that I've seen some of it, and it's really cool. You're in for a treat when you see this video. There's going to be some really cool stuff from other people from Keeley on it. So I'll see you guys later. Have a great day.